It's been more than a week since a group of protesters coming from Mpumalanga set up camp at the union buildings. And they say they will stay there until they get an answer from government as to why the Moloto Road rail corridor project hasn't materialized since 1994. Today they are targeting the office of the finance minister, demanding that money for the upgrades be made available. Let's take you to eNCA's Nqobile Madlala, who is covering that story for us. So Nqobile, how far have these protesters gone with getting a hearing at the very least from government officials?
Well, to us, from where we're standing, they're saying that they feel like nobody has really listened to them. But we do understand that yesterday they had a meeting with the ANC provincial. This was Mpumalanga yesterday morning. So we are going to find out from one of their leaders as to exactly what came out of that meeting at the ANC that you had with the ANC provincial yesterday.
Thank you very much. We had a wonderful meeting yesterday, one can say. I think there's always hope on any avenue which seems to see the direction of our call. But our primary objective is that the ANC made a promise to its own government, to these people. So it is the ANC that must deliver this particular project to the people that they've made a promise to. But however, the formation of committees, most of the committees collapse by the non-commitment of officials. Government officials are not committed to service delivery.
I want you to elaborate a little bit more. What do you mean when you say they are not committed to service delivery?
Look, government officials are the ones who are presiding over the implementation plan. You can have, they go to strat plan, they go to turnaround strategy, but it's upon them that they must take it within themselves to make sure that what they have already been doing is implemented. But I can tell you, government officials, anything that seems to sit with government officials, to us, historically, on this project in particular, you're not going to see it happening. Now, that is why we ought to camp here, because it have to start with the political will, so that those who supervise those administrators understand the repercussions and the importance of this project. It is very fundamental for all officials to understand. You can equally save life of people by wearing a mask, sanitizing, but if you don't upgrade such kind of infrastructure, you don't put such kind of rails to subsequently deal with the same matter that you are trying to save people on, you are actually running a fruitless exercise. So if we really mean that we want to save life of people of the old Nqobile area, we must then implement the Moloto Rail. It was approved, it's a cabinet resolutions, we have all the documents for us. If they need to ask to tell them, their documents, we have them, all of them. Now the question is, we've been sitting here, we written letters, we came here in good faith that let's have a discussion. Let's talk to you, because you cannot talk to us, President, through a form of Microsoft or Zoom, but we are here and we're not a rally. You can come and talk to us. But what makes us very worried is the people around the President, right, whom we view them as they are serving their own political interior motives towards not us being respected, not us being taken further, but nevertheless, they will do. This rail will happen. Whether they like it or not, it will happen. It was budgeted for, it was approved, it was given to the public by the same people who presided over this particular housing called Union Building, the former president. It will happen.
All right, but now what's the plan for today?
Well, today we're mobilizing all our people. We're preparing a picket to the office of the minister. It will then determine by the meeting that we're going to have at 2 o'clock today, so that we'll be able to embark. Minister Tito Mboweni is the minister like all ministers, as we emphasize. He must not be allergic to come and take a memorandum, because our issue are concerning his office. Our issue are explicit, correct, that his office must locate budget like all other major infrastructure projects that they used to do. It will be unfair for Minister Tito Mboweni not to understand our pride, not to understand our call, not to realize that this project was approved by the same cabinet. Unfortunately, he was not a minister at that time. But subsequently, where he's sitting now, he must then do an honorable thing and implement the promise that they made to the people. If really it's true that people shall govern, then let's see it by them, that they do what they promise us when they say people shall govern. If really people are governing, let's see.
Does the minister know that you are coming?
Look, all the letters that we have written, 3 ministers, 2 ministers were involved. We written a letter to the president, to the Minister of Finance, to Minister of Transport. You know what is the rationale? We didn't want to take any one of them by surprise. We indicated on the first letter of the 19th August that we are writing this letter, we are acknowledging the work that has been done by the Department of Transport, by the Minister Mpumalanga Peters at that time. We are saying the minister concerned now, the matter lies squarely with the Minister of Finance, but the President, we are reminding him, his predecessor made a commitment to our people, which is President Jacob Zuma in Kwaggafontein, and we are repeating this thing for quite some time. But he was a deputy president himself. He was present when this thing was approved. Look, it will be wrong that we allow government officials or politicians, when someone is in charge, he behaves like he doesn't know anything. President Cyril Ramaphosa knows about this project. He must not act special on this project. He must just implement the project. It's not a favor. It's a must, because we voted for them. These 3 municipalities that we're talking about, they are governing it 100%. They are not in coalition. And we're saying to them, rather their attitude, their arrogancy of not respecting us will then indicate to us that what we must then do, we're giving them an obligation that, look, we're still standing here. This is our day 13 or day 12, if I'm not mistaken, sitting here, sleeping here.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Well, Taylors, there you have it. They're saying that they want this Moloto Rail project to happen as it was announced on the in 2015. They're just saying, of course, it's a historic promise, and they want it to be done, and therefore we will be walking with them to the minister's office to hear what comes out of it, as they say.
Yeah, Nqobile, let me tell you, there are a few things that I really like about that interview you just had there with that representative. One of them being, for me, it just demonstrates democracy in action, right? These people coming out there, it seems at this moment, peacefully, not disturbing anything, basically demanding what was promised to them. It doesn't seem unreasonable to me. I may not know the history of the project in its entirety. Nqobile Madlala, thank you so much for that. But I must say I do like what they are doing. And sadly in our country, usually what happens is when people are doing that and picketing peacefully, sitting there for days on end, they probably won't get the reaction they deserve, the responsiveness and the accountability, until they block a road in Mpumalanga somewhere. And then they burn tires and burn public infrastructure. Then suddenly every minister, every HOD, every DG will be heading in that way. Hopefully this plays out differently. But I must say, them demanding answers doesn't seem unreasonable to me.